And we're live. Hello, everyone. Welcome back. If you're a frequent listener of Talking Shop, this one's going to be a little bit different because we don't have any guests on, except this time I have Mike, who is probably the first time
I
you've
am a
heard
guest.
from Mike. He is a guest, yeah. Usually this is Grant and me that do these, but it's late Friday afternoon in Bali at the minute, so Grant's having a well-deserved beer. So the basic premise of these new podcasts or new snippets rather is basically we're going to jump on from time to time and for like a weekly basis and kind of talk about what we're seeing in the space at the minute from an employment point of view, what we think the past week or so might mean for the space as far as recruitment's concerned and jobs and all this kind of thing. And basically just a little bit of chit chat about like general topics that we've kind of seen, jobs and projects and companies that have caught our eye, but very much in Web3 Nomads fashion, 100% freestyle in it. So we'll get into it, but first things first. Hi, Mike.
Hello. Good morning.
Good morning. So for anyone who doesn't know who you are, who are you?
So I'm one of the co-founders of Web3 Nomads. Obviously work with Blockmates as well. I think I just dot about, and basically the jack of all trades for what we have in the company, and lend my hand to a lot of things. I was a former engineer, process engineer for a couple of companies before leaving, and essentially joining Web3 full time last year. But I've been in DeFi, I think 3 years now. So,
and it's been a barrel of laughs ever since.
it's been bloody interesting. It's been a long journey and an interesting one, but I think it's been fruitful in terms of where I was and where I am now.
Yeah. So the first place to start with this one, since it's very much going to be topical and what we're seeing at the minute, is I guess we are going to have to start with what we're seeing this morning. And what we're seeing this morning is blood, lots of blood. It's Friday, the 10th of March. Yeah, it's not looking nice out there, is it? We the first message I woke up to was Grant in our chat today, and he said, "Shall we list a job at McDonald's?" So you got to have a little bit of gallows humor, I think, in times like these. But what we are here to do as well is hopefully offer a little bit of perspective that it isn't actually all doom and gloom, is it? But this morning, it's shite out there, isn't it? Why,
Well,
Mike?
I guess from an investment angle, we have had a couple of good months after a hell of a year last year. So if you're into the space and you love to dabble in an Alta 2, it's been a perfect opportunity to get some gains back or make some profit. But I guess that's not why we're here. I guess the angle for obviously the space and Web3 Nomads and like a lot of the companies out there is essentially the focus is on growth. So
Yeah,
although we are seeing blood and guts and it's bad, and I do hope people are surviving, are all right, and aren't over leveraged, of course. I think it's where now it's a time to consider where your place is in the space, really. As we have found, I guess.
yeah, yeah.
Like I say, I invest myself, and that's where I started. But it's not necessarily where I see myself again. I guess profiting from, but like also being part of in terms of like my skill set, etc. So I'm okay trading, yeah, but but in terms of where I found a strength is obviously the builders side, and
Yeah.
I guess that's where like Web3 Nomads has come in, and I guess that's where there is a hell of a lot of opportunity still.
Yeah. So even still, right, and we've said this since we launched, haven't we? Through the chop and the downturns and the overall carnage and not funness. I don't think that's a word of the last 12 to however many months. It actually has still been full of opportunity, hasn't it? But if we look at the last week or so, what have we seen? We pull some stuff up. We have seen some more redundancies. I've seen a couple of messages about Radix and jobs going there and this kind of thing. But what we also are seeing is a constant stream of opportunity. And if that tells you anything, it's that the space in the industry is moving more and more away from being completely bound by market movements. And obviously everything is affected by global macroeconomics and all this kind of thing, like any industry. But it is good, I suppose, isn't it, Mike? It's not good, sorry. It's a shit morning. But what we're trying to do is say that it's not all doom and gloom. It doesn't have to be. So tell us why.
I guess the difference is now, like from last year, and people have probably found out that a lot of people made a hell of a lot of money last year, and when it was up only, and I guess some people got caught in the trap where they stopped relying on the skills they have, and it was more just like make a shit ton of cash and then get out and like live like financially free. Like a lot of people obviously round trip the bags, and then it's like, well, if you still enjoy the space and believe in the space, why are you just investing in it? So I think it's a case of like, look, there's loads of contagion this morning. Obviously, the banks, it looks a bit iffy with the sell-off of stocks from that SVG bank, which overnight's dropped about 60%, I think. And obviously Silvergate, which was crypto-friendly bank, that has gone into voluntary liquidation. So there is some contagion out there. Bitcoin's looked shaky at best for a couple of weeks, probably a month now. But the thing is, what we are seeing come through is, I know there's been layoffs in tech, there's been layoffs in crypto, where there's been, I guess, more legacy companies or longer running companies where they have run out of, say, runway, or are looking to restructure to make sure that they can survive through a prolonged bear market or economic downturn. But what you have coming through all the time is there's a hell of a lot of VC money still being allocated.
Yeah.
Yes, it's not as significant as it was in the bull market, but there is money being allocated there. So although people are losing jobs, there still is a lot of jobs coming through, which we have seen.
Yeah.
And I guess from our point of view is, if you do have a skill set, you're an engineer or in software, or you're a project manager or a product manager, or you've got skills in marketing or community management or design, and you have an interest in space, I think the paramount thing is here is you've got skills that are very much needed and will be needed for the next year to 2 years as these companies build out. And they need these skill sets as there'll be lean startups, and they need people with a ready set skill set essentially to walk in and hit the ground running. And I don't think I don't think people always view the space like that. I think they just go, all right, it's crypto, you just throw money at Shiba Inu and stuff like that. But I think the focus is like, there's massive companies with the cleverest people you ever meet. Like, we have dealings with them, and you think, oh, Jesus Christ, like, I hate the word, but like gigabrain, like really, really the best of the best, like clever people who are devising solutions, innovative solutions for Web3 and crypto, which are only just starting out. So for people who are losing a job, it's like, well, look, if you've got a ready made skill set there, if there's a hell of a lot of startups that have got runway for the next 2 years, 3 years, 5 years, who are just beginning to build, well, then there's opportunity there in my eyes.
Yeah. And look, proof's in the pudding, isn't it? You said it there. And look, as I said at the start, we're freestyling this, but what we'll try and do is very much like make it like a week in the news. But because of what we've seen this morning, I think it's kind of important that we offer this perspective to anyone listening, and probably also to ourselves as well, Mike. Let's be honest on a Friday morning. And we've seen it, haven't we, with as you say, the people we speak to, and what I've found with Web3, right? And hope these aren't famous last words, but the people who gravitate into this space with the talent and the experience don't find that they often go back. And like that to me is a sign of growth. Not just growth, but ongoing growth. And then to go one better, ongoing growth, despite the shitstorm that we've had over the past year or so. So Absolutely. It's good. Can only be good.
I know, like really, there's not many people that want to leave, I don't think. No. And that is interesting. And I think it's once you do start going away from the investment side, and you do want to build something or be part of it in a startup sense or a DAO or whatever it may be. I do think it's like it just gets you hooked, and it's an industry that's pretty interesting. Obviously, it's the perks that come with it. You're not really bound by like legacy companies. Like I've worked with companies where it has been very much legacy, like culture, and it's all right, and it does the job to a certain extent. Don't get me wrong. Like we've seen it in terms of you get certain bad actors in the space where you get one end of the spectrum where people aren't as professional as you'd like to be, and I think there's a happy median in terms of that, in terms of how professional. But what it does give you in terms of perks and as like is the financial freedom, and I guess financial freedom is two things, or could be perceived different ways. Like yes, you could be a millionaire, but I think that comes with certain burdens anyway. The more money you have. But I think the other side to it is just being like having the freedom and time. And if you are part of these companies, usually the perks are pretty good for that. That you work hard, but there's obviously a lot of freedom to be able to do what you want to do in life as well.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's what for us, especially, like I guess that's how I see it. I'm not tied. I get my job done, and at the end of the day, I can still do whatever the hell I want, really, in terms of the rest of my life. So
the overall message I think here is keep growing your skill set and apply it to a space with as much opportunity that this one has. That's what I think anyway. But not to go too far down that rabbit hole, because we do want to keep these kind of relatively lean in 15 to 20 minutes. Absolutely. So, you get your sound bites on a Friday. But right, what I want to do is, because when you talked about that, how we've still seen stuff coming through, we have in fact seen stuff coming through. There are new jobs on our site every day, regardless of what you wake up to, whether it's euphoria or complete dismay. So what's caught your eye lately, Mike? I want to know. I'm going to pull up our site and give people a view. Which jobs do you think are looking particularly good? Which companies? Tell me why. What is it about them? Which will be a lot better and easier when this pops up.
Are we in?
Are we in? I'm on one screen today, so we are in. So tell me what's, kind of which of the roles at the minute on Web3 Nomads do you think are particularly of interest? Not that they're not all of interest. They are all fantastic, but I have a few in my mind. So you tell me yours first.
Well, it's funny, isn't it? Well, the ones where I used to think it was a myth, but apparently it's not, and it's coming, well, relatively soon, which is Berachain of all.
Right as I'm over it.
And this is the case, is like you're looking there, they're a new chain. They've got they're obviously in terms of must be at the start of like we say, the start of their runway, and they're building profusely from the roles that are on there. If they're looking for a range of technical and non-technical roles across product management, engineering, and then there's even a UX UI designer on there. So again, it's like these jobs are always in demand, and we do see across the site that, again, software developers, senior software developers, CTOs, that type of role. I just think that, like, if you're in Web2 or tech now, you are absolutely like sitting on a gold mine if you want to come over, if you're willing to learn, especially the tricks in DeFi. And really, you should be technical astute to be able to be able to learn the fundamentals of DeFi. Like if you're in that type of role, but also I think even the non-technical roles, I think it's just the time. It's just the time you take. If you could take 5 hours a week to learn a new skill, and it's DeFi that allows you to enter the space, then I think examples like that, it's like, Jesus Christ, if you're worried about your role in tech, for instance, you sat at a tech company, you're like, God, we're not making profit, because a lot of them are running out of runways, for instance, so or won't be turning over profit for the next 2 years, and then it begs a question whether people hold the job. What would you rather do, be pushed or jump yourself? So I think there's something strong in there in terms of not just honing your own skill set, but taking some time to learn a new one to be able to make that jump or leap that can keep you secure for the next few years,
Yeah.
and then by then, hopefully, economically things change. So
Yeah. What I love about the Berichain jobs as well, like as you've said, is not only is that exciting and there's loads of opportunity, but as you've said, there's a mix of skills and experience there, tech and non-tech, and that's what the drum that we've been beating for the last couple of months is. There is a space for everyone here. Depending on your experience, you might be sitting there thinking, "How do I get a foothold?" Just like start exploring, jump on the site, have a look at what's on there, look at the roles and responsibilities. These are exciting early stage startups with big plans, big futures, and they probably have a home for you if you're listening to this. And even if you're not in the place that you're ready to make a move over into a completely new field and industry and stuff, guarantee that if you start looking into it now and getting more of a feel for like where you could find your own place, that'll inform your decision making as far as like what skills should I focus on, what do I think I can bring to the table. And the more familiar you get with what people are looking for in this space, the more comfortable you'll be at applying for these roles. So try not to be too intimidated by them. I almost think that we should keep it short and sweet, especially for this first one. And the key takeaways from this today for me are, yes, it's been bit of a shit bloody 12 hours or so since I went to bed last night, but fundamentally we're still walking up to new roles on the site, which is good. It's very good.
yeah,
No matter what way you look at it, things are not that bad.
Things are all like it's always darkest before the dawn. So yeah, it's one of them things. We've got through worse.
We have absolutely got through worse, but you know, keep looking, keep checking the site. Our DMs are always open, as everyone knows by now. And what we'll do is we'll try and get into the swing of these weekly pods, and we'll probably have some more current news and kind of trending topics to chat about going forward as well. But this one, I think we're done. We're done.
Done.
Thank you very much, Mike.
Cheers now.
Cheers for
Thank you very
tuning in.
much.
See you, everyone. Have a good weekend.